Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am in the process of solving a technical barrier with a Tomioka DSM lens model. It has a huge glass element and no AM switch. Espresso is what I need to cool down my drained brain, so decide to jump to two more interesting Pentax lenses. In this chapter, the lens in the overview is the Super Multi-Coated Takumar 50mm f4 Macro, featuring a rotating helicoid, a handy 50mm. I use it as a normal walk-around 50mm lens, with the capability of taking close-up subjects with detail, and not so much blurry. For real macro photography, I own another that sleeps in my dry cabinet. Later, I will publish an overview of it. Back to the subject. My copy is a third-generation lens. The first is the Pentax Macro-Takumar, which has two rings at the top end of the lens, a preset aperture ring and aperture ring. Serial numbers range from 7129XX to 8017XX, produced in 64 and is an aspherical lens. The second generation, the Super Macro-Takumar, serials 2465 to 3923XX, produced between 66 to 71. The third generation, the Super Multi-Coated Macro-Takumar, serials 4410XX to 8879XX, produced between 71 to 75. And the last, the SMC Pentax Macro, produced in 75. Again, don't mix their generation. The key is to be clear about which model you are buying. Prices differ, and that's why my copy is only $1 sign. This is the first time that I made relevance to a lens that I don't own, the Macro-Takumar. This lens is much more interesting than my copy. It is aspherical, with two rings, the preset and aperture ring, clickless, and the price asked for is interesting too. What more makes this Macro-Takumar so wanted? Its magnification ratio is 1:1, and mine is 1:1/2. You can compare their size from this picture. There are some colored numbers under the aperture ring, which refers to the exposure multiple, reminding us to decrease the exposure. At the time, there was no TTL metering. Macro photography was not as easy as today with TTL. When focusing close up, the whole optical system advances, being farther away from the film or sensor, and causing what's so-called an inverse proportional to the square of the distance. So, you increase the exposure to compensate the power. Just like all Pentax lenses, made of metal, built to last, and with good ergonomics. From 0 to 2 meters to infinity, it took less than a full turn. I took off its front tunnel to measure, and it's about 3.9 centimeters deep. The optical design follows the tessar composition. You have already watched throughout my video the common usage of a macro lens, and now let's watch as a normal 50mm lens.